Tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw featured one of the most anticipated moments on the road to SummerSlam 2026. The WWE Championship contract signing between two of the greatest rivals in WWE history, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. This wasn't just another contract signing. This was the latest chapter in a rivalry that has defined an entire generation of professional wrestling. These are two men who have fought beside each other, fought against each other, betrayed each other, and pushed each other to the absolute limit. Now, with SummerSlam just around the corner, they are preparing to collide once again for the richest prize in the industry. The atmosphere inside the arena was electric long before either superstar made his entrance. Fans knew this wasn't going to be a peaceful contract signing. History has shown that whenever Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins share the ring, chaos is never far behind. Every stare, every word, and every move between these two carries years of history behind it. The ring was already prepared with the contract table placed in the center. Security surrounded the ringside area as WWE officials stood nearby, clearly expecting trouble. The commentators reminded everyone that this championship match could very well be one of the final major battles between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Both men have accomplished nearly everything there is to accomplish in WWE, and as their legendary careers move closer to their final chapters, every encounter between them feels more important than the last. Roman Reigns was the first man to make his entrance. The crowd erupted as the OTC slowly walked toward the ring with complete confidence. Roman carried himself exactly like the biggest star in WWE. Every step reflected the dominance he has built over the past several years. Even without saying a word, his presence alone filled the arena. Moments later, Seth Rollins made his entrance to an equally loud reaction. Rollins looked completely focused. There were no mind games during his entrance. No dancing. No distractions. He walked to the ring with one purpose: to remind Roman Reigns that no matter how dominant Roman has become, there is one man who has always found a way to get inside his head. Once both men were seated across the table, the WWE official introduced the championship contract and explained the importance of what they were about to sign. But before either superstar touched the contract, Roman Reigns grabbed the microphone. Roman wasted no time taking control of the conversation. He looked directly into Seth Rollins' eyes and reminded everyone why he has been called the greatest superstar of this generation. Roman spoke about headlining WrestleMania after WrestleMania, carrying WWE on his shoulders, breaking records, selling out stadiums, and becoming the face of the company. According to Roman, there has never been another superstar who reached the level he has reached. But then Roman shifted the conversation towards Seth Rollins. He admitted that Rollins has always been an incredible competitor, but he questioned whether Rollins was still physically capable of competing at the highest level. Roman began mentioning the long list of injuries Seth has suffered throughout his career. He referenced Rollins' knee injuries, back problems, and every setback that forced him away from the ring. Roman told Seth that while he was busy building a dynasty, Rollins spent years rebuilding his own body. He said that every injury took something away from Seth, and now, at this stage of their careers, Rollins simply isn't the same man he once was. Roman even suggested that SummerSlam could become the night Seth Rollins finally realizes his body can no longer keep up with his heart. The crowd reacted loudly as Roman smiled with confidence, clearly believing he had struck a psychological nerve. But Seth Rollins simply laughed. Instead of getting angry, Rollins calmly picked up his microphone and delivered one of the strongest responses of the night. Rollins admitted that Roman was right about one thing. Yes, he has suffered injuries. Yes, his body has been through wars. But every scar on his body is proof that he never stopped fighting. Then Rollins reminded Roman about something that has haunted him for years. The one statistic Roman Reigns can never erase. Rollins reminded everyone that while Roman may have become the biggest star in WWE, he has never truly beaten Seth Rollins when it mattered most in a major singles match. That statement immediately changed the atmosphere. Rollins explained that championships come and go. Records get broken. Dynasties eventually end. But Roman has spent years chasing something he has never fully achieved: a decisive victory over Seth Rollins on the biggest stage. According to Rollins, that fact has lived inside Roman's mind for years. He said Roman can call himself the tribal chief. He can call himself the OTC. He can call himself the face of WWE. But deep down, Roman knows there's one rival who has always had his number. The crowd exploded after that line. Roman's facial expression immediately changed. For the first time during the segment, the confidence on his face seemed to disappear for just a moment. Rollins continued speaking. He told Roman that their rivalry has never been about championships. It's about proving who truly owns this generation. Roman may have been the #1 superstar in WWE over the past several years, but whenever their paths crossed, Seth Rollins found a way to survive. And that psychological advantage still exists today. Rollins then looked directly at the championship contract. He said that SummerSlam isn't just another title defense. It's Roman's final chance to erase the biggest failure of his career. If Roman loses again, history will always remember that no matter how dominant he became, he could never overcome Seth Rollins when everything was on the line. Roman had heard enough. He immediately stood up from his chair. The tension inside the arena became unbearable. Security quickly stepped between both men, trying to prevent a fight before the contract had even been signed. After several moments, both competitors reluctantly signed the contract. The WWE official quickly collected the paperwork, believing the segment was finally over. But everyone watching knew this rivalry was far from finished. Roman suddenly stepped forward, appearing ready to attack Rollins. Rollins reacted instantly. Before Roman could fully launch his offense, Seth swung the microphone with incredible force, smashing it directly into Roman Reigns' head. The impact stunned Roman. The OTC staggered backward as the crowd exploded. Rollins immediately took advantage. He pulled Roman into position and delivered a devastating pedigree in the middle of the ring. The fans were already on their feet, but Rollins wasn't finished. Roman slowly tried to recover. The moment he got back to his knees, Seth backed into the corner. The entire arena knew what was coming. Rollins charged forward and connected with a thunderous stomp that planted Roman Reigns face first into the canvas. The crowd erupted as Seth Rollins stood over Roman Reigns. Security rushed into the ring too late. The damage had already been done. Rollins picked up the WWE Championship, looked directly at Roman lying on the mat, and raised the title high above his head before dropping it beside his rival. It was a powerful visual that instantly became one of the biggest moments on Raw. As Rollins stood tall, the commentators reminded everyone that despite Roman's incredible legacy, Seth continues to hold the mental advantage whenever these two collide. Roman slowly rolled out of the ring, visibly frustrated and embarrassed after being left laying in front of the WWE Universe. Meanwhile, Rollins celebrated inside the ring as the show came to an end. However, this story is far from over. The road to SummerSlam still has 2 full episodes of Monday Night Raw remaining, and that changes everything. Before next week's Raw even begins, Roman Reigns is also scheduled to appear this weekend at Saturday night's main event in New York City. During that event, Roman will take part in a special acknowledgement ceremony alongside New York Knicks captain Jalen Brunson, one of the NBA's biggest stars and a lifelong WWE fan. While the ceremony is expected to celebrate Roman Reigns, many fans already wondering whether Seth Rollins could somehow make his presence felt there as well. WWE has used public appearances like this before to continue major storylines, so it would not be surprising if tensions between Roman and Seth spill over before next Monday even arrives. Looking ahead to next week's Monday Night Raw, one question stands above everything else. How will Roman Reigns respond after being humiliated? History tells us that Roman Reigns never accepts embarrassment without retaliation. Tonight, Seth Rollins embarrassed him in front of the entire WWE Universe. He attacked Roman before Roman could execute his own offense. He hit him with a microphone. He delivered both the pedigree and the stomp. And then he stood over him holding the WWE Championship. That is not something Roman Reigns is likely to forget. Our prediction is that next week's Raw could belong to Roman Reigns. Expect Roman to arrive with a completely different mindset. Rather than engaging in another war of words, he may decide to send a physical message immediately. An ambush backstage, a surprise attack during one of Seth Rollins' matches, or even a brutal assault before Rollins can enter the arena, all realistic possibilities. Roman knows that allowing Seth to keep the psychological advantage heading into SummerSlam would be a dangerous mistake. Another possibility is that Roman chooses patience. Instead of attacking first, he could lure Rollins into a trap, allowing Seth to believe he is in control before delivering a devastating spear or Superman punch when he least expects it. WWE often builds rivalries by allowing momentum to swing back and forth, And after tonight's ending, Roman feels like the superstar who needs to regain that momentum. Whatever happens, next Monday's Raw has suddenly become one of the most important episodes before SummerSlam. The psychological battle is no longer just about words. It has become deeply personal. Seth Rollins may have stood tall tonight, but Roman Reigns has built his career on responding when the pressure is highest. With 2 episodes of Raw remaining before SummerSlam, expect emotions to rise, tempers to explode, and the attacks to become even more vicious. By the time these two finally meet for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 2026, there may be nothing left to say. Only one question will remain. Can Roman Reigns finally defeat the one rival who has always lived inside his head? Or will Seth Rollins once again prove that when the stakes are highest, Roman Reigns simply cannot beat him? Only time will tell. But after tonight's unforgettable contract signing, the road to SummerSlam has become even more unpredictable.